So it's officially February, which means that everyone who subscribes to the whole New Year's resolution norm has officially had a month to try desperately not to break their goal. And you know what? I'm willing to bet that most of the people watching this right now already have. I'm not saying this to make anyone feel bad. I don't think anyone should ever feel bad for not accomplishing their goal. After all, the entire point of a goal is to give you somewhere to aim for, not to give you a strict ultimatum. If that's the way you're making goals, you might want to change that. But the thing is, New Year's resolutions, to me at least, are the least sensible, least achievable goals out there. So today, even though I know I am neither the first nor the last to make this argument, I wanted to talk about the flaws with New Year's resolutions and what you can do instead. The first flaw with the New Year's resolution tradition is that it is based around a highly flawed social construct: time. Now, I know many of you might argue that time is not a social construct. After all, it's based around science and astronomy, but it's not as important as we're told. First of all, there aren't 365 days of perfectly 24 hours when you look at the astronomy of it. After all, that's why we have leap years, because it doesn't take exactly 365 days to orbit the sun, nor does it take exactly 24 hours for the moon to rotate around the Earth. Additionally, biologically speaking, most people's circadian rhythms are actually 25 hours, not 24. So if we're not going based on biology or astronomy, why are we even bothering? Simple. In our modern lives of work, school, and appointments, we have to all be on the same page about when we're meeting each other. Because if you're going to the doctor's and you're expected at 10:30 and someone else thinks that they're expected at 10:30, there's only one doctor, so that's going to create a problem. In order to get around that, we have calendars so that we know what day we're supposed to arrive on and what time we're supposed to arrive at. To eliminate this confusion, it's just more coordinated that way. What I'm getting at with all of this is that there's no special reason for us to make a new goal at the new year. If we had decided 1,000 years ago that the new year started in June rather than January, we would be none the wiser right now, because it doesn't actually matter. So when we say new year, new me, there's really no reason for us to say that at that point in time, other than calendars. Life can be crazy regardless of what time of year it is, so it really doesn't make sense to say, this is the day that I'm supposed to set a goal, so this is the day I'm going to change. Sometimes, regardless of what the calendar tells us, life can be crazy at the start of the new year, so don't feel obligated to make a goal if it's not a good time. Do it when it's right for you. Make goals for yourself, not because society tells you to. Another flaw with New Year's resolutions is that so many resolution makers make the mistake of aiming way too high, which just sets them up for failure, disappointment, and discouragement. If you haven't had the time to read lately, so you make your goal to read 20 books in the new year, that's just setting you up for failure. The start of the new year does not mean that your calendar is going to change, so if you didn't have time before, there's no reason that you're going to have time now regardless of the calendar. It would make a lot more sense to start out smaller by saying maybe I'm going to read 10 minutes every day if you can fit that in, or by saying I'm going to read 5 books this year. But starting off saying I'm going to read 20 books this year is unrealistic, and you're probably going to fail, which will make you less inclined to make goals in the future. And I'm not saying you can never read 20 books in a year if that's what you really want to do. I'm just saying you should work up to that. If you did not have the time last year to read more than 3 books and suddenly you're aiming for 20, it's not going to happen. But if you start by making 10 minutes a day and increase that to 20 and 30 and however much you want, then you can get to that 20. You just have to start at a place that is reasonable and achievable for you. Just be gentle with yourself. But all of this being said, by far my biggest problem with New Year's resolutions is that it's treated as an all or nothing situation. People act as if they have to meet their crazy, outlandish goals, or they can't do it at all. If they can't read those 20 books, and it's clear by February that that's not going to happen, they go, well, I failed, I'm not going to read any books now. But that's not the solution. If you need to modify your goal, absolutely modify your goal. As I said, it's a place for you to aim, not an ultimatum. And the amazing thing about goals is that they can be changed. There's nothing carved in stone saying you have to achieve your goal. It's just for you personally. So if it doesn't fit, change it. Because just like your goals can change, your schedule can change. If at the beginning of this New Year, it did seem like you could write 1,000 words a day or whatever your goal may be, but then in March you end up having a bunch of stuff fall onto your plate and you don't have time for that anymore. Don't stop writing, just modify that goal. If you think you can do 400 words a day instead of 1,000, make that your new goal. Instead of just saying, I can't write 1,000, I can't write any. Remember, the goal that you make is for you, not for anyone else. It doesn't matter what anyone says about your goal because it is your goal, not theirs. So then, if New Year's resolutions aren't the way to go, what is? Well, I have an answer. My suggestions for setting goals are as follows. Number 1, start small. Set a goal that isn't that far out there, and once you can consistently achieve that, you can bump it up to the next level and make it a little harder. You can set those difficult goals once you can consistently achieve those smaller goals. Which brings me to number 2. Change your goals when you need to. As I said, this is just for you, and there is no reason why you can't change your goal to match your current situation. That way you're setting yourself up for success instead of failure, because when you achieve your goal, it feels really good. So by making goals that you can achieve and then just gradually pushing yourself out of that comfort zone, you're setting yourself up to succeed and feel good about yourself. You shouldn't be looking at your goals like a chore rather than a motivator. That's a sign that it's not a good goal. And my third pointer, going along with the second one, is check in from time to time. If you're achieving your goal and still having plenty of time to add to it, then you should add to it. But if you're not achieving your goal, maybe scale back a little bit. Check in from time to time because as the times change, your goals should change. Thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you the best in this new year, new decade even. And if you're interested in seeing where I go with my channel this year, feel free to click the subscribe button down below and even turn on the bell if you'd like notifications when I post. My social media links are in the description if you're interested in that. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I will see you soon.